And then it said Italian, Caucasian, Japanese, Spanish, Indian, Negro, Vietnamese, MC, disc jockey, show, flock hits for the young ladies. Introducing the crew, you gotta see to believe. We're 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 MCs. One dude said, I'm Melly Mel and I rock it so well. And the next dude said, and I'm Mr. Ness because I rock the best. Then the third dude said, Raheem, and all the ladies dream. And the other dude said, Cowboy, and I make you jump for joy. And then the fifth guy said, Creole, and the other four guys said, Solid Gold, the Kid Creole. And after that, I was sold. So, I started writing rhymes, but not for y'all to hear. I never wanted to be on wax or vinyl for real, because it was all make-believe to me. I was pretending to be this great MC on the microphone. So I started writing all my rhymes for me. Every time I would do something, I would write a rhyme about it. So my friend, Joseph Simmons, who y'all may know as Reverend Run now, he comes over my house one day, and he finds my school books where I was writing my rhymes. And he looks at me in 1978 and says, 79, and says, when my brother Russell lets me make a record, see, my whole life is full of records. When my brother Russell lets me make a record, I'm putting you in my group. And when he said that to me, I just looked at him. Because it was like he was speaking a foreign language. I was like, what the hell is he talking about? Me making records? No, I'm a geeky school kid that's going to go to college. So make a long story short, 4 years go by. I graduate from Rice High School. I send out my resume to all the colleges, and I get accepted to St. John's University. So I run home and I make a rhyme about it. I'm DMC, in the place to be. I'm going to St. John's University. And since kindergarten I acquired the knowledge, after 12th grade I'm going straight to college. So I wrote that whole rhyme. That was in June of 82. In August of 82, the phone rings. And it was my friend, Joseph Simmons. Darryl, remember 4 years ago when I said, whenever my brother lets me make a record, I'm putting you in my group? I was like, yeah? He was like, grab your school books, because we're going to the studio to make a record. So we went to the studio, and we made a record called It's Like That, and That's the Way It Is. And the B-side was this record called Sucker MCs, which Run had already did by himself. And then when he finished his rhyme, he looked at me and said, D, go in the booth and just say your newest rhyme. So my newest rhyme was, I'm DMC. In the place to be, I go to St. John's. So I went there and I put my newest rhyme on the end of his record, Sucker MCs. And the record just took off and it was a hit. Then, since that record was successful, Russell says, y'all gotta make another record. So we made another record called Hard Times. And the B-side, because remember y'all, everything was a single in those days. It wasn't no albums. So the next single that we made was Hard Times. And the B-side with this record called Jam Master Jay, we had to make the Jam Master Jay record because it was, the group name was Run DMC, but every time we would show up somewhere, it'd be 3 people on stage. So the audience was like, what the hell? Who's the hell? What the third guy back there using the records? Like, nobody knew what the hell we was doing. They would ask us, where's the band at? And we point at Jay. And it was like, he ain't got no drums and no guitar. Yes, he does. All the music is in the records. So we made this record called Jam Master Jay to let people know that Run DMC is actually 3 dudes. Run DMC and Jam Master Jay. Then Russell gets bold and says, we're gonna make an album. And that's what happened. The whole industry looked at us like, look, we don't even want to hear the singles of this hip hop stuff. Nobody is gonna want to hear an album full of rap and hip hop and the mumble jumble thing. So we was the first to do this album, and the album went gold. And then we got on MTV. And then we said, whoa, this album thing could probably work for us, because now we're making albums like all the artists and musicians from rock, punk, R&B, disco, soul, and funk that we stole from. Because remember, we didn't make our own music. We stole all the music from all these lovely records on the wall, and we just added our raps to it. So then we did another album called The King of Rock, which was about us being denied entry into a fictional rock and roll museum that didn't even exist at the time. 1985, when we did the King of Rock video with Larry Bud Melman from the David Letterman show, at the front door of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame saying, you guys can't come in here, this is a rock and roll museum. And then we run through the museum, pull the plug on Jerry Lee Lewis, throw the hat on the Beatles, and take Michael Jackson's glove off the display, throw it on the ground, and I stepped on it. Yes, I did that. I dissed Michael Jackson in a video. And by the way, we met him, and he said, yo, guys, I love the way you dissed me in your video. True story. So we did the King of Rock record, and it went double platinum. Then we did the infamous Raising Hell, and that thing just changed the world. So I bring all these stories up to tell you why vinyl is so important. Vinyl is the total experience of what all this music stuff is about. It's an experience. You see it, you hold it, you play it. You take it from you take it from the cover and you put it on the record and you put the needle. There's things you have to go through and do to be part of this musical experience that all these artists and musicians create this music for you. That's missing nowadays. And when it comes to hip hop, that's why hip hop's so crappy, but that's a whole other story. So this is me going back to my roots. The record being produced for all of us. You know, it's not like go down like buy music, you gotta download it because I'm somebody. No, the vinyl is the total experience for the community of music lovers. You hold it, you see it while it's playing, you can read it. I used to love reading Parliament records. I used to love reading Led Zeppelin to see who mastering. I didn't even know what that word meant. They got musicians that create this stuff. Like it was visual, it was physical, and it was musical. So for me, I haven't put out music in a long time. And the last time I put out music and something good happened in the world is when we put out Walk This Way. People looked at that video and said, yo, what happened in that video when Steven Tyler knocked the wall down? That didn't just happen in the video, that happened in the world. So when my man Jason Rockman over there, say hi, Jason. He's the guy that came to me and said, yo, D, you making some good music. Do something good for the people, put it on some vinyl. And I said, cool, okay, yeah, let's do it. So Jason said, we got this record. We're gonna produce a song for you. Me and my band, Slaves on Dope, gonna make a song for you. And I want you to get Chuck D, a Public Enemy, on the record. So I know Chuck real good. I call Chuck up and say, yo, Chuck, man, we're gonna do some vinyl and we're gonna put it there. Chuck's like, I'm down. Y'all know Chuck D, a Public Enemy. Yes, I'm down. Vinyl, you know how Chuck is. And then I spoke to Carl, hi Carl over the Looney Tunes Records, West Babylon, Long Island. He said, when you do this vinyl thing, it's gotta be special. It's gotta be special, it's gotta be an experience for the people. It's an experience for me, but it's gotta be an experience for the people. So give me 4 records, give me the Slaves on Dope record. I had this other record that I did with Rome from Sublime. I was like, yo, Rome, man, do a record with me. We're going to make somebody cool, man. Let's do it. And he came and it took him 1 hour to do all his verses, all his harmonies, all his backups. In 1 hour, he walked in. What's the record about? The record we did is called High and Low. It's about all the homeless, foster care, and orphan youth in the world. We wanted to do a record about those kids sleeping on the park benches, those kids that go to jail during the wintertime because they don't want to be out in the streets during the winter. They go do a petty crime. They say, okay, if I do this crime now, December, January, February, I'll be out in April. We did a record about those foster kids and those orphans. So Rome walks in, hey, what's this about? It's about the homeless kids and the foster kids and the orphans. 1 hour, done. High five me, he's gone. That record's on there. Another record produced by John Moyer from Disturbed. Y'all know who Disturbed is, right? Did y'all hear the Sound of Silence record they did? Phenomenal. John Moyer comes to me and says, hey, D, I'm going to do a record for you for this vinyl EP. Cool, okay, cool. So he comes up with the idea to do a record about all the police shootings that's going on. And my joke is it took 2 white guys to get me a black dude to do a record about all the police shootings going on. But that's rock and roll. Rock and roll is the voice of the people, about the community. And then John Moyer goes, yo, man, I know somebody that we're going to get to sing the chorus on this record. One of the greatest voices in rock and roll, in music, period. I'm like, you do? Who's that? I want to call up Miles Kennedy. I was like, what? Is he gonna do it? I mean, he's great. And he said, hey, Mars, you wanna do this record? Yeah, man, done. Boom. Then there was one more record to go on the album. It's Slaves on Dope, Coming Like a Runner with Chuck D, High and Low featuring Rome for Sublime. The record that John Moyer from Disturbed produced for me and Miles Kennedy is called Flames. And then there was one final record on it that I had done with my new band. I have a new band after Jam Master Jay passed away, rest in peace. When I'm running around doing my Run DMC thing, I don't want to be doing it, I don't want to be DMC alone trying to compete with what Run D and Jam Master Jay collectively did, because those three dudes was just too badass. So I'm like, okay, if I want to continue on singing my records that I made in the past, that's what I do already, I want to do a different interpretation of it. So I got me a drummer, I got me a bass player, I got me a guitar player, and I got Jam Master Jay's protege, DJ Charlie Chan. We put a little band together so we could create some new music and do all the music I already did, but in a different presentation. I don't want to be running around with a DJ and they'll be like, DMC sucks. His DJ's weak. It's no fun seeing him without Running Jay. So we put this record together called Back from the Dead. And when Carl I sent the records to Carl's like, yo, Back from the Dead, that should be the title of this vinyl EP awesome presentation. And I'm like, cool, yeah, I like that. And then Carl, he gives me some homework. He says, when you're doing vinyl, and all of y'all know this, especially if you're a collector, it's all about the artwork. It's all about the presentation. About 7 years ago, I was in Boston, and this is how powerful vinyl is. I was in Boston at the Boston Art Museum. I think, yeah, it's the Boston Art Museum. And they did a forum, they had a forum on the lost art of album covers. And it was me, I was on it. It was a guy from MTV, the guy from the Hard Rock Cafe franchise, he was the commentator. And dig this part out. There was a guy that was a record store owner. So they introduced me at DMC, Run this, hey, we love him. They introduced the guy from MTV, hey, we love him. And then when they introduced the record store owner, yo, believe this, they introduced the record store owner, everybody in there stood up and gave him a standing ovation. Because there was people in there that said, do those people really exist no more? Is this really, is that so real? And people took out magnifying glasses and they was examining them like, you really own the record store? Yes, they still do exist. But to make a long story short, Carl was like, yo, it's gotta be an experience for the people. So he said, DMC, your homework is to find out something great for the album cover. So he got some music. My mission is to find out something great for the album cover. So I'm traveling around the world, flying on airplanes, looking out at the clouds. Maybe I'll see something there that's gonna help me. When I land, I'm looking all around, when I'm going through customs and everything. Everywhere I go, I'm in the subway, even when I'm in the toilet. I'm in the toilet looking in the bathroom, maybe I can discover it, because you never know. I want the album cover to be dope. So 2 days go by and I'm discouraged. I'm like, man, this is harder than I thought. And then boom! 3 years earlier, before any of this came to be even a thought, before I even talked to Jason and Carl, I have a comic book out, because I was in the comic books, like I said earlier. For music, all I did was read, collect, and draw comic books. I was at Kansas City Comic-Con, and Tony Moore, the artist from the Walking Dead graphic novel comic series, was at this Comic-Con with me. And it was funny how we met, because I was at my table and he was at his table, and every time, I don't think I'm an intimidating guy, right? I'm not really intimidating. So every time I would look at Tony Moore, he would turn his head. And then, I'm going through the day selling the book and signing, and the look I was seeing, he turned his head again. But then at the end of the day, I guess he said, I gotta do this before DMC leaves. He walks over to me and he says, yo man, I love your music. I got every album, this and that, I got the vinyl, the whole thing, and your music changed my life, whatever. I have something for you. And he hands me an envelope. This is for you. We shake hands, see you tomorrow, cool. I didn't look at it till I get all the way back to my room, but when I got back to my room, I opened it up. And it was this image that he had drawn while I was sitting there at the Comic-Con. He drew me as a zombie. So when I saw that in my hotel room, I must protect this with my life. This has to make it back home. When I was leaving the hotel, the bag man reached for my bag. I barely cut his head off. Get away from me. So I took this picture and I put it in my secret drawer in my house. And it was just laying there for the last 3 years. So now, fast forward, I'm just trying to find artwork. The light comes on. Yo, I got this. Maybe that'll go with Back from the Dead. So I called Carl up. Yo, Carl, man, I'm coming back out there. I got to show you something. I think I have it. So I drive from Jersey back to Carl out in West Babylon. I said, Carl, and it was funny the way I did it. I walked in there because I didn't know if he was going to love it or not. There's Back from the Dead, and I have this thing that Tony Moore from The Walking Dead drew at me when we was at a Comic-Con one time, and it was me as a zombie, and I showed Carl, and when I showed Carl, I was like this, because I never seen a man go that crazy. He was on my, because this is art to him. You know what I'm saying? This is culture to him. You know what I'm saying? So when he saw that, he just starts ranting and raving. I thought he was possessed. He started talking in 5 different languages and stuff like that. He started calling everybody this and that, boom, boom, we got to do this. And this is the artwork that came out of Carl coming up with the idea from the Back from the Dead, which is not about me coming back from the dead, but in a way it's kind of like me coming back from the dead because I haven't done music lately. So if I'm coming back as awesome as this new music is, in one of the most awesome, creative, artistic, historical presentations ever, that being vinyl, there's nothing better than giving y'all an experience that represents in all of this stuff that I said, pure joy and fun. That's what the vinyl experience is. And for me, it's an honor and a pleasure not to be going, oh, my music's available on iTunes. That's corny. Oh, you can download to come to my Twitter and click on, no, don't click on no buttons, it's corny. No, you gotta get your ass up, put your clothes on, go out the door, and come to the wonderful heaven that we call a record store. I have returned back from the dead, and I am now in heaven, standing with all the musical gods who have been recorded for history in this great, awesome, artistic, fun medium that we call vinyl. And like I said in the beginning, nothing else competes, because DMC is telling you here today, when it comes to vinyl, vinyl is final. Thank you.